There is a reason Japanese cars dominate every single longevity list on the planet. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Mazda. These vehicles routinely cross 300,000 miles, while American and European cars are headed to the junkyard at half that number. But here is the thing nobody talks about. It is not just the engineering. Japanese mechanics follow a completely different philosophy when it comes to maintaining vehicles. Practices rooted in centuries-old Japanese culture that most Western mechanics have never even heard of. Today I am revealing 7 hidden Japanese secrets that keep these cars running practically forever. And number 4 is a mandatory government system so strict that it literally forces every car in Japan to stay in near-perfect condition, or it gets pulled off the road entirely. Secret number 7 is the Kaizen maintenance method. Most people treat car maintenance like a checklist. Oil change every 5,000 miles. Tire rotation, maybe new brakes when they start squealing. Done. Japanese mechanics think about it completely differently. They follow a philosophy called Kaizen. It means continuous improvement. And it is the same system Toyota used to go from a struggling post-war company in 1950 to the largest automaker on Earth by 2008. Here is how Kaizen works. Instead of waiting for something to break and then reacting to it, you make small, continuous improvements every single day. In a factory, that means a worker who finds a way to shave 3 seconds off an assembly step stops the line and implements it. The cost is 10 minutes. The payoff is infinite because every car from that point forward is assembled faster. Japanese mechanics apply this exact same mindset to car maintenance. Every time the car comes in, even for something minor like an oil change, they are looking for the next small thing that could become a big problem. A slightly worn belt gets flagged. A minor fluid discoloration gets noted. A rubber hose that is starting to feel stiff gets replaced before it cracks and leaves you stranded on the highway. Western mechanics generally fix what is broken. Japanese mechanics are constantly preventing the next failure before it ever happens. That one philosophy alone is why vehicles maintained by Japanese mechanics outlast everything else on the road. Secret number 6, the OEM parts obsession. Here is something most people don't realize. Japanese automakers do not actually manufacture most of their own parts. Toyota does not make its own spark plugs. Honda does not make its own fuel pumps. They contract companies like Denso, NGK, Aisin, and Akebono to build these components. Denso is literally partially owned by Toyota and has been their primary supplier since 1949. These companies build the exact parts that go into new vehicles at the factory, then sell the same identical parts in their own boxes for 30 to 50% less than what the dealership charges. The only difference is there is no car brand logo on the housing. Japanese mechanics are obsessive about using these OEM grade parts. They will not touch cheap aftermarket knockoffs for anything critical. Engine sensors, ignition coils, timing components, fuel injectors, they all get Denso, NGK, or Aisin replacements. One Toyota forum member documented replacing their AC compressor at 185,000 miles with a Denso aftermarket unit. The vehicle now has over 400,000 miles on it, which means the replacement compressor has outlasted the original factory unit. Meanwhile, generic aftermarket parts from unknown manufacturers cut corners on materials, tolerances, and quality control. A cheap alternator saves you $80 today and leaves you stranded 6 months from now. Japanese mechanics understand that the right part is not an expense. It is an investment. Companies like NGK and Denso have been supplying every major Japanese manufacturer: Toyota, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, Subaru, and Mitsubishi for decades. Their spark plugs alone last up to 100,000 kilometers. Install and forget. Secret number 5, the gentle drive-off technique. This one is going to challenge everything your dad taught you about warming up your car. Most people in America start their car on a cold morning and let it idle for 5, 10, sometimes 20 minutes before driving. Japanese mechanics say that is one of the worst things you can do to your engine. Here is the science behind it. When you idle a cold engine, the combustion chamber warms up, but the oil stays cold and thick. Cold oil does not protect as well, so you are stuck in this high wear zone longer than necessary. Even worse, prolonged idling causes incomplete combustion, which leads to carbon buildup on valves and pistons. Over time, that carbon buildup causes engine knocking and reduced performance. While the car is sitting in your driveway idling, the transmission fluid, differential fluid, and wheel bearings are not warming up at all. Those components only warm up when the car is actually moving. The Japanese technique is simple. Start the engine. Wait 30 seconds to 1 minute for the oil to circulate. Then drive off gently. No hard acceleration. No redlining. Just smooth, light driving for the first 5 minutes. This brings the entire system, engine, transmission, differential, everything, up to operating temperature evenly and efficiently. It is faster, it is healthier for the car, and it actually saves fuel. The U.S. Department of Energy recommends this approach for modern vehicles. Japanese mechanics have been doing it for decades. Secret number 4, the shaken inspection system. This is the big one. And honestly, it is one of the main reasons Japanese cars are in such incredible condition compared to vehicles from anywhere else in the world. In Japan, every single vehicle must pass a mandatory government inspection called shaken. It has been law since 1951. New cars get their first inspection at 3 years, and after that, it is required every 2 years, no exceptions. This is not some quick emissions check and a sticker like what most American states do. Shaken is one of the most rigorous vehicle inspections on the planet. Inspectors check everything: exterior condition, paint, glass and lights for damage or rust, brake efficiency, headlight alignment, emission levels for carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons, wheel alignment, a complete undercarriage inspection for oil leaks, loose bolts, worn drive shaft boots and corrosion, suspension and steering components. If your car fails any single test, it cannot legally be driven on public roads until it is repaired and re-inspected. Here is where it gets really interesting. The cost of shaken ranges from 60,000 to 200,000 yen, roughly $400 to $1,300 for a standard passenger car. But if your vehicle needs repairs to pass, those costs are on top of the inspection fees. One car owner in Japan said his total shaken bill cost more than the car itself because it was an older vehicle that needed extensive work. This creates an incredible side effect. Japanese owners are forced to either maintain their vehicles meticulously or sell them before the inspection comes due. That is why the used car export market from Japan is flooded with incredibly well-maintained vehicles that still have years of reliable service left. It is also why Japanese cars driven in Japan often look and run like new even after a decade on the road. The shaken system literally prevents poorly maintained cars from existing on Japanese roads. Before we get to the top 3 secrets, do me a favor and hit that like button if you're learning something new today. Secret number 3, the Fluid Discipline Protocol. Japanese manufacturers specify shorter maintenance intervals than almost any other automaker. While many American brands are pushing 7,500 or even 10,000-mile oil change intervals to make ownership seem more convenient, Japanese mechanics follow a different standard entirely. They treat every fluid in the vehicle as a consumable with a strict replacement schedule, and they don't stretch the intervals. Engine oil gets changed religiously, not because the oil light came on, not because it's been 10,000 miles, but because the manufacturer's service manual says it's time. Turbocharged models get even shorter coolant change intervals. But it goes way beyond just oil. Japanese mechanics monitor and replace every critical fluid on a precise schedule. Automatic transmission fluid gets checked and changed every 50,000 to 100,000 miles, depending on the model. Brake fluid gets flushed because it absorbs moisture over time, which lowers its boiling point and reduces braking performance. Coolant, power steering fluid, differential fluid, all on documented schedules. And here's the key. They don't just check fluid levels, They check fluid quality. A Japanese mechanic will pull the transmission dipstick and evaluate the color and smell of the fluid. Dark or burnt-smelling fluid gets replaced immediately, not at the next scheduled service. They inspect oil for metal particles that could indicate internal wear. They check coolant for discoloration that signals a potential head gasket issue. It is not just about keeping fluids topped off, it is about reading the fluids like diagnostic indicators. Your car is literally telling you what's going wrong through its fluids, and Japanese mechanics are trained to listen. Secret number 2, the underbody protection ritual. Rust is the silent killer of vehicles worldwide. It attacks from underneath where you cannot see it, eating through structural components, brake lines, and exhaust systems. In North America, road salt accelerates this process dramatically. Most owners never think about what is happening under their car. Japanese mechanics treat underbody protection as one of the most critical maintenance tasks you can perform. In Japan, particularly in northern regions like Hokkaido, where roads get heavy salt treatment in winter, there is a disciplined approach to protecting the undercarriage. After winter, or after driving on any roads treated with salt, Japanese mechanics recommend a thorough undercarriage wash. Salt increases the rate of rust at an alarming speed, and leaving it caked on your frame and suspension components is essentially letting your car corrode itself from the inside out. But they go further than just washing. They apply strategic rust prevention to vulnerable areas. This includes injecting cavity wax into sealed body panels, like doors, fenders, and structural rails every 2 to 3 years on older vehicles. Stone chip protection gets applied to leading edges, the top of the hood, the front of the bumper, and the bottom of the door sills, areas that take the most impact from road debris. Worn rubber seals are replaced promptly to prevent water from seeping into sealed cavities, where hidden corrosion can spread undetected for years. This is a small cost with a massive payoff. A corroded subframe or rotted brake line is not just an expensive repair. It is a genuine safety hazard. Japanese mechanics understand that saving the chassis from rust preserves both the structural integrity of the vehicle and its resale value for decades. Secret number 1, the noise diagnosis philosophy. This is the secret that separates Japanese mechanics from everyone else in the industry, and it goes back to a core principle in Japanese culture: paying attention to detail at a level that most people consider obsessive. Japanese engineered cars are designed to run quietly and smoothly. Every vibration, hum, and mechanical sound is calibrated at the factory. So when a new noise appears, no matter how subtle, it is not ignored. It is treated as the car communicating a problem. Japanese mechanics are trained to interpret noises the way a doctor interprets symptoms. A suspension knock means worn bushings. A belt squeal indicates a tension issue. An exhaust rattle points to loose heat shields. A ticking from the engine bay could mean a hydraulic lifter losing pressure. Each noise has a specific cause, and each cause has a window of time before it escalates into something far more expensive. Here is the critical difference. A Western mechanic might hear a minor suspension knock on a test drive and say it is nothing serious yet, come back when it gets worse. A Japanese mechanic hears that same knock and replaces the worn bushing immediately. Why? Because they know that if you ignore a minor bushing failure, the constant irregular movement will eventually destroy the shock absorber above it. A $40 bushing replacement becomes a $400 strut replacement. A minor rattle at the exhaust becomes a cracked manifold. A subtle whine from the power steering pump becomes a complete pump failure and potential loss of steering assist. This philosophy connects directly back to Kaizen. Every small noise detected and addressed early is one less catastrophic failure down the road. Japanese mechanics do not wait for problems to become emergencies. They eliminate problems when they are still whispers. And there you have it. 7. Japanese secrets that have kept these vehicles running for hundreds of thousands of miles while other cars fall apart. From the Kaizen philosophy of continuous improvement to the OEM parts obsession, the gentle drive-off method, the shaken inspection system, fluid discipline, underbody protection. and the noise diagnosis approach. These are not gimmicks or hacks. They are a fundamentally different way of thinking about car care that prioritizes prevention over reaction, discipline over convenience, and long-term reliability over short-term savings. The best part? You do not need to be in Japan to start using these techniques today. Pick one, start applying it, and your car will thank you with years of extra life. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button and subscribe so you do not miss our next one. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these secrets you are going to start using first. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.